For this quick Christmas craft in our 15-week series, we're going to use these fabric bags from Dollar General, some scrap burlap fabric, a couple of sticks from outside, some foam core board, scissors, a razor, and a magic marker along with your glue gun. Using my ruler on my foam core board, I've created a V. We are creating a primitive Christmas tree ornament. So I want to take my razor and I want to cut 3 pieces of this for one tree. Now glue your 3 sides together to form your tree. To help hold your stick steady, size it up and see how far you want it to stick out. Then just place some extra pieces of foam core into the space so that when you glue it inside, your will remain out as much as you want to make up the difference. Because I plan to use burlap on this one and it has some markings on it, I'm going to use some craft paper to mask it. Now you can glue your stick into place that's serving as your tree trunk, and then glue your fabric down over top, and that will enclose it. Now using a piece of burlap scrap that you've got left, and you want to go ahead and remove the string from the bottom so that it has this little bit of a rough strings hanging down. Once you've cut this little piece, you can glue that onto the bottom edge of your tree. Using a small amount of the berry garland from Dollar Tree to wrap around my tree just for the decoration. Won't need but a little bit. With a hanger, and voila, we have our burlap primitive Christmas tree ornament. For this tree, I'm going to use the smaller fabric bag that I got from Dollar General. Okay, now we've wrapped this in fabric as well, of your choice. So now we can place our stick in there and start gluing our fabric down around it. Add some berries and a hanger, and voila, you have a primitive Christmas tree ornament to go on your Christmas tree. That is a Christmas tree. This quick Christmas craft, since trees have been kind of the theme of this week, we're going to do a Christmas tree ornament. We're also going to do a candy cane ornament, and we're going to be using wine corks. You will need your case cutting razor knife. You will also need your hot glue gun. To make the tree, we need 6 pieces of our wine cork. We're going to be cutting these. I've already cut this one, and I made this one really wide because that's going to be my trunk. Now, one wine cork can get you those extra pieces, and you can just kind of in your mind see how to divide it. And we want this beautiful smooth cork side. You can use the white side if you want to, or you can turn them vice versa. The tree, you'll need 8 pieces to make the candy cane. So, using my paint markers, which you will find a link in the description box down below, I'm going to paint just a few of my different colors for the tree. Okay, now we're going to glue these together, and always do one to the other. That way you can turn it if you need to in order to get them all equally fitted. And you want to make sure that when you place them together that they are level with each other. Okay, I'm going to take a little piece of craft paper that I have crinkled up by just wadding it up and then stretch it out. And I'm making a very small rustic tag to go on my little tree. Ribbon right here from Dollar Tree, and basically I'm going to use that as its garland, and just a little bit of glue, just enough to hold it. It's got our joy and our button on it. We don't want to cut that just yet. It's going to also be our hanger. I have selected 2 buttons. So I glued the little button onto the big button and glued it across the dangler there. And using that same string that the dangler is attached to, created the hanger. Voila! We have our little button, wine cork, Christmas tree. And we have our little dangler that says joy on it with our button. You guys know how much I love plaid paints. This is the Folk Art Metallic, and you cannot beat it. I also have the silver. This one's brand new. The bright red is a new, so this is what your bottle is going to look like now. Once again, that link is in my description box, but you can locate this at Walmart. Your candy cane, make sure you lay it out and adjust it so that when you begin gluing it, it comes together correctly and looks with the hook of a candy cane. This is one that you want to take slow. Even though it looks simple, the candy cane is one of the most complicated ornaments to do, simply because of its complexity and how it does its hook. So this turn right here is what's going to make that candy cane form correctly and bring about its uniqueness for it. Now, one thing on your candy cane is to glue you some ribbon on the back side, because when this twists around on the tree, it will be seen. But not only that, it will secure your candy cane, but it is one of the most delicate ornaments to make. Now, once I assembled my candy cane, I took that baker's twine and wrapped around it and glued it into the back. That gave it a little more definition as well. I then crinkled up some craft paper, wrote Merry Christmas on it, and created my tag. I used the same baker's twine to attach that tag and to also make the hanger for the candy cane. I made it a regular shoe tie bow, put angle cuts on it, and glued it to the candy cane. Now, if you guys are enjoying this video, give it a thumbs up. That lets me and YouTube know that you enjoyed the video and would like to see more of the like. Consider subscribing to the channel. Read the comments and suggestion boxes down below. Once you subscribe, you're part of my DIY team, and we help each other, encourage each other, and be creative. I hope you enjoyed making this Christmas tree and this candy cane ornament. So until the next DIY, I'll be crafting y'all. Make some Christmas ornaments. Merry Christmas. For our quick Christmas craft ornament for week 7, 1 1/4 6 pieces at the Dollar Tree styrofoam balls. We'll only need 2 of these. String, twine, cord of some sort, or you may want to use yarn. I'll need 2 toothpicks, 1 paper clip, 2 of these like berries. These come off the berry bundles from Dollar Tree. I need a couple. Now, I took a spot of glue and I put it onto that styrofoam ball, and that's just so that when I'm wrapping my string, I can get it to stay on there and not slide around. That helps knitting ball. Now that we've got our twine on our balls, or our yarn, whichever you chose, I made 2. So the first one we're going to do, we're going to make knit needles. I have 2 toothpicks here, and I'm going to use the more pointed side as the needle. I'm going to take the berry and just place a little bit of glue on that, and then that way it won't come loose whenever I put my toothpick on it. And just make a set. Put 1 on in there. Now, I've already added the hanger, so just pick a side that looks suitable to you. You want to stick that down in there, just like you were putting them up. And voila, we have our knitting needles. And for this next one, we're going to make it into a crochet needle. So I'm going to use this paper clip. I straightened that paper clip out and just formed it and bent it and cut off what I didn't need. In that bent area, we just want to make sure it's down in our ball. Figure out where it's going to work the best, and we're going to slide that in there. Voila, we have our little crochet hook on our ornament there, and we have our knitting. Here's you a perfect ornament and Christmas gift stocking stuffer and make to sell Christmas ornament. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Let's make a primitive star. This can also be considered a rustic Christmas ornament, a primitive Christmas ornament. I have some bells here. You'll want you a template. Remember, when you create your star, you want long legs, and that makes it more primitive. A marking to instrument. I have some doll pins. Definitely your jute twine. I'm using pinking shears and fabric of choice. This is actually ticking fabric that I'm going to put my pattern on. This is a friction pen, guys, and this ink is an erasable ink, but if you were to put heat to it, it makes the ink disappear. I use these extensively in sewing and quilting. If you want to check the affiliate link for my Amazon store down below, I'll make sure that I have these linked. But let me just show you what I mean by this ink. I've made a mark. See my heat gun? Just the heat from my heat gun is enough to make it disappear. See, it just automatically will start disappearing. So if you are using this for a pattern on fabric and you're going to do a quilt, this is really, really excellent tool to have. I also use the ink ones. To speed this process up, guys, I'm going to use a little bit of glue to pin down my star, but I'm staying 1/4 of an inch away from the seam line. Now I'm going to take my doll pins, and I will put a link to these. You can get these at Hobby Lobby in the Sewology, so that link will be in the description box. I've threaded my jute twine that we get from Dollar Tree through the eye of that needle. And here's the important thing, guys. Stay away from your points. Don't start in your points. You want to start somewhere in the body of your star. And you want to go to the bottom, and you want to come out around 1/4 of an inch away from your edging. And that way it will hold up. I always leave a tail on this particular type of crafts. Just leave a tail. Even if you do it through the front, just leave a tail. And you're going to go 1/4 of an inch upward and bring that twine through there. And you want your stitches to show. You can make them small, you can make them big. It's really up to you. The more defined they are, like if you're using cross stitch thread or what they call embroidery floss, that looks really good on this stuff. I'm just using jute twine to give it that old-timey feel. The main thing with doing this is to be consistent. So whatever size your stitch is, do that all the way around your ornament. And that gives it that prim look. Now when I get back around to where I left that difference hanging out, I just go ahead and I tie it. This is the back side of my ornament. Now don't cut the thread, just tie it. Once you tie it, we're going to run this thread up here, or our twine, back up to the top tip. This is our top. And I'm just going to make a hanger with it. And voila, we have our little hanger. Now we can put whatever we want to. You could put a saying, you could put a name, a year. I have these little rustic red ones. Remember, prims are all about that little bit of something that you got. Just that little bit of something. And it doesn't even rattle. It's more for looks than anything. If you thread or twine hanging here, I'm going to leave me a tail. And let's do a 3 fingers. Wind, 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 wind. When I bring that one up, don't let go. We've got this one. Bring it around. That one. Now catch all of them. Catch them all. Slide it off your fingers and you can pull it tighter. And then that one that we left, tie it onto it. And ta-da! We have us another little bow going there with some tails on it. And you can put an extra knot in there if it just makes you feel better. And there we go. We got our little bow right there. You could put a button or anything there and make it really prim. Another FYI, when you're putting these fabrics together, if you will dust the back side with a little bit of cinnamon powder and then glue the other part on, it'll have that cinnamon smell. But if you've already sealed it up like I have, no fear. Just put a little bit of cinnamon powder on there. Just a small little dust. Don't go crazy. Rub it on it. And that gives it that dirty look. And it smells marvelous. I wish you guys could smell it. You can do the front side. Voila. We have our little prim ornament. There you go. Rustic, primitive fabric store. We are going to make us a rustic angel or primitive angel. We're also going to make a rustic Christmas tree or primitive Christmas tree. These are Christmas ornaments, great stocking stuffers, and excellent gifts to adorn packages with. The primitive angel. And if I have to, I can square it up. And these are about the size of a pocket, the width. It's really all you're going to need. It doesn't have to be perfect because this is actually going to be the angel's dress. If you have some of the nautical rope, you might want to cut you a piece about 7 or 8 inches long. And we're going to, per se, we're going to bring this seam toward us. We're just going to kind of gather it like that, almost like an accordion style. And about 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches down, we want to tie it. I'm just going to tie these with that one underneath it. Then I'm going to push it down, tie it again above it. And voila, I have my little strings hanging down. Okay, so we've got that much made. If we want to, we can make us a little bow out of that same strands of nautical rope. Alright, now we have our angel's button and bow and strings on the front. So we're going to do some extra decorating here, but we need to add her head. So you're going to take the front here and you're going to kind of bring it downward, almost like this is her dress. Get you a ball or a bead of some sort, and we want to glue that onto the top here. Gorgeous, and that's our beautiful little rustic Christmas angel, or you could call this your primitive Christmas angel, and she is just adorable. Now to do our rustic Christmas tree ornament, or you could call this a primitive Christmas tree ornament, and these are the Halloween witch hats, and I took that straight out of the bag, and the little chenille stem that's twisted on these will come right off. Okay, so we have our witch's hat, and I'm going to pull this little piece of felt off of the bottom. That's the brim. What you want to do is you want to cut these in about 1 inch squares, so to speak, or at least the width by the length. Making them into little cones per se. They got kind of an angle point on them. There's different ways to do this. You can do narrow ribbon, or you can do wide like this one. Now once you've got you a few made, you're basically going to take and start layering them on your little plastic hat. And I'm only going about, I don't know, not quite halfway up. Layer that we did. Okay guys, now when you get to your top layer here, you're going to really make sure that it stays at the point. You're not going to need that many around this upper side as you did the other side. I created me a star, glued some craft paper on it, added some sprinkles, and added it to my tree. I found my bells. These are the rustic looking ones that Dollar Tree had this year. And I'm just going to add a few. And the cool thing is you could literally like hang them underneath the limb. Rustic Christmas tree ornament for our Christmas rustic decor and woodland Christmas or primitive Christmas. Selected my letters. I'm going to do peace, joy, and love. The second thing I want to do is my first ribbon. I want it to be at least 6 inches long. You'll need it that long. For example, peace is going to take up that much space. On my piece, I'm going to use the silver burlap ribbon that I had gotten from Dollar General as well. And it's going to go here. So what I want to do actually is cut this, and I'm going to glue that down the side here. Next, I'm going to apply my date on here. Cut you off 11-inch piece of nautical rope. You're going to put a curl in it, and I want to glue this piece underneath. I'm going to take this piece and place a little bit of glue on the side of the rope and bringing it next to the loop. Now I'm going to take some of the fibers out of the bottom of my ribbon to give it a little bit of interest. Marker and colored in that red. It was the wrong kind of red. So I'm just going to attach some of these greeneries at the top of my ornament here. This one I'm going to use my black and white buffalo check. And I'm going to use that little strip of silver to place right there. And it's going to show just the edge here. So once again, a 6-inch piece. And just a small amount of glue. Cutting a 2-inch burlap ribbon in half and gluing it to the fabric buffalo check ribbon. You'll also find that using a pair of scissors will help you to fray out any kind of fabric ribbon much easier without any stress. And once you get that done, you can place maybe the date upon the side like I did with the little bubble letters, glue your rope underneath, put your loop, and then fray out your strands. Add your greenery and a berry, and you are going to have this beautiful ornament. Voila, here we go, our ribbon ornament. I also did the next one in love. If you're enjoying this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, please read the comments and suggestions. You'll find that anyone who subscribes to my channel is considered part of my DIY team. Until the next DIY, I'll be crafting y'all. This is Elizabeth. Bye guys.